And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Cellulose, a plant cell biology game. Now, if you've never heard of a Genius game before, the company who made this game, you might already be getting ready to click this video off. You're like, science. But what you should be saying is, science. Because Genius games take scientific things and makes them into fun games. They're educational, but they're also entertaining. Now the question is, how entertaining? Genius Games has a really good track record. So let's take a look at this game here, Cellulose, which is one of the few games, the plant cell biology game, that I actually recognized a lot of the terms from them. This is one of the things, for some reason, I remember a lot of it from high school. But let's take a look at this game, in which you're trying to get the most points, a worker placement style game about building cells. Here we go. In this game, players are building a cell wall. Players are going to have a chance to build it themselves to get a certain amount of health points in this game. But also the game itself will build a wall at the beginning of each round, at the end of each round. And that's what's going to trigger the end of the game. When the health wall is built, whoever has the most health points, basically victory points, is the winner. At the beginning of each round is the sunrise phase, and in the sunrise phase, players are going to get income based on where their tokens are on the root and shoot tracks. So as the game goes by, players will have a chance to move their tokens down these tracks. Once you move, you can't go back up. So if you move over here, for example, you're done. When you move to a spot, it might give you this one, for example, if you move here, you get 6 water immediately. But also at the beginning of every phase, during the sunrise phase, you would get 3 water. But I might want to move down here where I get 3 points and I get 2 protein and 5 water during the income phase. But I have to wait longer to get there. And up here, the same thing, where you're going to get resources as you move up the shoot track. In the daytime phase, in turn order, players are going to take 3 action markers and one at a time, place them in various spots on the board. Some spots you can place as many as you want. Some spots, only 1 can go in there. Now, many of these spots are going to give resources. Up here, you're going to get water equal to the water level. So you see the water level's at 5. But every time you take water, the water level goes down until there's no water left. If you go here, you're also going to get CO2. But that also decreases the water level. So that's what these 2 spots are. When you take water, you also have the opportunity to put up to 3 water here in the central vacuole. Now this matters because at the end of a round, you're going to evaluate which player, and there's one here for each of the colors, has the most water. Whoever has the most water, all their water will be removed. They move up 1 spot on this track, getting the points there, and they're going to get an extra worker that they'll be able to use, an extra action marker that they'll be able to use on future turns. In a 4 to 5 player games, that will happen again twice. If you don't win this, your water will stay there from round to round. Other spots in the main board, here's a spot where you can get protein, one of the resources in the game. Right here, we have different resources. This is going to be plant hormones that you'll get. Over here is where you'll pay to go up and down on the root and shoot tracks. And then up here you can get the first player marker to go first. Now if something's in red, like here you pay protein, here you pay CO2, you have to pay those resources to do that. The big thing over here is getting your carbohydrates, and you do that by paying 6 water and 6 CO2. You need a lot of resources to get one of these. These are really handy because you can use these to build the cell wall, and that's what you'll do when you go here, building the cell wall. And you can also turn them in over here to get ATP, which is a resource that you need to move on the root and shoot track and other places. Finally, you can also go down here to take these cards. When you take cards, you'll be able to play one of them. Whenever you play a worker, you can play these cards. These cards have costs to play the cards, but once you play them, they're going to give you victory points on them, and they'll give you special abilities. This one, for example, lets you take one of your action markers back to use again. Some of them give you extra resources during the sunrise phase. And then these DNA cards here, when you take them, they'll give you an immediate action sometimes. And then whenever you play another orange card, you can pay the protein here that it shows at the bottom of the card to get that action again. So the more of these orange cards that you get, so let's say I get this card first. which is going to give me some resources. And then I play this card second. It doesn't give me anything, but I can pay carbohydrate to get more resources. And then in the future, if I get another orange card, this one gives me nothing, but it lets me pay a protein to get 2 points and 2 resources. And so there's lots of various ways to combo these cards. And at the end of every round, one of these cards goes away and they slide down. Cards are the main way to get points other than building the cell wall. When you build a cell wall, you just put the next one there. That's what this spot lets you do. And you're going to take the amount of points that it shows there. When the cell wall is finished, the game is over. You'll add up points from the cards that you've collected over the course of the game. You'll have gotten points over here from the central vacuole and points from your card, and whoever has the most points is the winner. This is Genius Games, so as always, their stuff is very, very high quality. The cards, linen finish, the symbology, pretty easy. I mean, some of the terms, but even the terms, they'll simplify it to make things go down. But, I love these resources, the ATPs. Everything looks really good as you play it. I especially like this second board here with the root and shoot tracks. That looks good. The rule book itself, very easy to understand. And as always with Genius Games, they have a secondary book here which just explains how everything works. You want to know more about photosynthesis? And here's the science behind the game. I'm always a big fan of that. A lot of cool things here. The board itself is double-sided. You use one side for 4 to 5 players, and then the other counts 1 to 3 would use this side of the board. And then there's some extra components included for solitaire play, which Mike DeLisio covers in another video. Okay, so science is fine. The science works for the game. I would say I think sometimes in Genius Games, they do a really good job with the science, sometimes maybe at the expense of other things. And so Cellulose is a solid worker placement game that's fun. I like the game. I want to say that right up. But there is one small problem I have with this game, and that is as the game progresses, some of the spots become useless. The root and shoot tracks, for example. Once you've gotten to the top of the root and shoot track, there's not a lot you can do with that space. So that space on the board is not as handy. And in the final round of the game, sometimes there's just not a lot of things you can do. Since a lot of things don't convert to points and such, you kind of sit there. I felt that this game did not have a strong grand finale to it. Other than that, I like it. I love the water level, the thing set to each round. I love the way the cards combo off each other and work. I love the science. I like when you get those tokens and you're like, should I continue on with the cell wall? Or should I spend them to do this? How fast do I run up the root and shoot track? That's what I like to do, right? That root and shoot track, run those up there so I'm getting in tons of resources every turn. Yeah, but if I do that, someone else might beat me by getting those cards. You get a lot of cards and combo them off each other. You can do some really cool things as the game goes by. All this, the game is gorgeous and has a really strong science theme behind it. I don't think this is the best game that Genius Games has put out. They put out many solid games over the years, but I do think this is a good one. If you're a biology teacher and you want to teach, about plants and cells and stuff, come on, this game is tailor-made. But forgetting that, forget the educational part. Is it a game that you're like, I don't care about this theme at all, I just want to play a solid game? Then I would say yes. There's some things in here I haven't seen. I like the water aspect where you can put water in that central vacuole, and it's kind of an area control. And I love the way it works is whoever wins removes all theirs. So if I lose just by a bit, I get to keep my water there and hopefully win the next time. And I like that concept because you're giving something up, hoping to win points later on because water is used so many other places. And I like the way that the cards combo off each other. Other than that, it's kind of a standard worker placement game, and I tend to like those games. So there's that. And Mike says there's a very good solo version of this, which you would have to watch his video to see how that works. But I like it. Certainly one to check out. That's Cellulose. I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower Judgment approved.